All right, so I'm going to help you here. So try to do this on your own so you actually learn from it, all right? Because that's the goal of it. So remember, the first thing is to look for your Z. So minimizing cost. So read here and look for cost and then try to write your Z, okay? The next thing is once you figure out your Z, so Z equals whatever, okay? So figure out what you're trying to minimize here. We're trying to minimize cost. So read it for whatever's cost, that's your Z. Whatever labels go with that would be here and here, okay? Then this one is going to kind of be like a value, sort of kind of a value noun situation, a value noun situation. Okay, so that's going to be one of your inequalities, or two of them, sorry. Another one is going to be one of them alone. A lot of times you have one alone and the other thing alone. This time you only have one of them alone. And then we actually have a type of comparison. And then we have the two that shall never be forgotten. All right, so I'm going to pause it. I want you to pause it. Try to find, what are you trying to minimize? You're trying to minimize cost. Get that out of there. Find your labels at your top and see if you can come up with any of these four main inequalities and then the two that you shall never forget. All right, I'm going to pause it. You pause it too. Okay, get the Z out of the problem. So if you look, it says the word cost and it says 18 cents. And it says that's for food A. So I know food A goes there. And then the other one, it says it costs 12 cents. So I know that's my Y, and that goes with food B. So then I know any other nouns go here. Well, at the beginning, it talks about what? Protein and fat. Okay, and so what does it say? Food A has 2 protein, 4 fat. So goes that way. And then the other one has 6 and 2. So again, these are going to be my X's and Y's, X's and Y's. And at the beginning, it says they have to have at least 30 proteins. So again, they can eat more. Okay, this is just minimum nutrition. So these aren't things that you can OD on, right? This is like protein, fat, although maybe you could have too much fat, but it just says at least. So we're good on that. Okay, then what is the one by itself? Well, it says, let's see, long-term contracts require that at least 2 units of B be used. It's only talking about food B and at least. Now the comparison's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. One contract requires that the same amount of food B used be no more than 3 times food A. Okay, so I'm going to take 3 times food A and requires that the amount food B be no more than. So I want the alligator, so to speak, to eat the 3x because this one can't be any more than that. So the Y value, the B has to be less than 3 times. Okay. And then the 2 that shall never be forgotten. All right. So after you get those done, the next thing you're going to do is make your XY charts. This one you have to decide, is it horizontal or vertical? This one I'll make an XY chart too. Okay. And then you're going to graph these. This one you can go by ones on your graph paper. Okay. If you're not sure on things, you can use Desmos to make sure you're graphing it correctly and not the wrong way. Okay. So see if you can sub in what we call the intercepts. This one goes through 0, 0, so you're going to have to find another point that works besides 0, 0, okay? But here you can do intercepts, and so forth, okay? This one, decide horizontal or vertical. Go ahead and graph these and then shade and try to find your feasibility region, okay? So again, pause and do this yourself. Don't just like, oh, I'll just watch Julie do it. No, try it as if it was a quiz. And then see how well you do, and then watch me do it, and then fix any errors. All right, I'm going to pause. All right, so I went ahead and subbed in 0 divided by 6 to get the 5, subbed in and made that go away, divide by 2 to get 15. For the X, sub in 0, divide by 2, you get 10. Sub in 0, divide by 4, you get 5. This one's going to be horizontal because remember the y-axis goes this way. So if y is stuck at 2, it's horizontal. Here, the problem is if you sub in 0, you get 0. Okay. So then just sub in like say 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. And you can do that. All right. So and then the 2 that shall not be forgotten tell you you're in the first quadrant. Okay. So I am in the first quadrant. Okay. And I'm going to go by 1. So let's graph this guy. Make sure your 5 is on the y. Don't turn those around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And make sure your 15 is on your x. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15. All right, so there's 15. Okay, and that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we're gonna connect the dots. Okay. And, usually it's a good idea to label it in case you need to figure out which line is what later. But all right, there we go. Test 0, 0. Is 0 plus 0 greater than 30? No, 0 is not greater than 30. So I'm up here and then it bends over here. So now this is a no. Down here, that's a no. I'm not over here. I'm up here. Okay, let's look at the next one. 10 on the y. So there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10, you have an intercept on your y, and then 5 on the x. So I'm going to draw a line connecting those 2 dots. Okay. And it cuts my yes is up here, and it kind of cuts it into an A and a B. Okay. And again, I can label this if I want. 4x plus 2y equals 20. All right, but go back to the inequality. Is 0 plus 0 greater than 20? No, it is not. So the 0, 0 side is the no. See how the A's are on the 0, 0 side? All of this side is a no. So this is a no. And so my yes is now kind of, again, in that B area. All right, y and 2. Okay, so 2 is right here. So that's a horizontal line. Y equals 2. Okay, test 0, 0. Is 0 greater than 2? No. So again, 0 is not greater than 2. So again, I'm up away from 0, 0. So right now I'm in this area up here because everything else keeps being no's. Okay. Now this one is 0, 0. That doesn't help me much. So when it goes through 0, 0, you got to pick another point. These are not intercepts. 2, 6 is a point in space, or 3, 9. It is a point in the middle. So go over 2, up 6. It's not a X or Y intercept. It means go over 2,